Hello YouTube, this is Flights in Asia and this is the aviation and travel updates from the Asia Pacific for June 2nd. And in this video, one of the biggest headlines has been the plans for the Philippine-based carriers to resume flights after a 2.5-month hiatus due to the COVID-19 and the ensuing quarantines imposed in the Philippine capital of Manila, the hub for these airlines, and the other provinces. And I'm going to get to the flight schedules and the current situation of the Philippines from the latest updates. One of the biggest things, though, I wanted to bring up first is the planned resumption of transit travel in both Hong Kong and Singapore, where this is a benefit to both Cathay Pacific and Singapore Airlines. And I bring this up because this actually affects travel to and from much parts of Asia, a link between the continents of North America, Europe, Australia, Asia. These flights are a major transit point, and Hong Kong being a major transit point for these travelers, this is good news for both Hong Kong and the aviation community. So June 1 for start for air transit services at Hong Kong Airport. They're only gonna be allowing the transit if you are having a single booking for the trip, meaning that you're not stopping in Hong Kong. And also, to emphasize this, the connection time to their next Cathay Pacific or Cathay Dragon flight is operated within 8 hours. So after you touch down, you got to get on your second flight. Now, interesting enough, this is not going to apply to transiting to and from destinations in China for now. So that's something to note for anyone interested in this matter. So with that said, I'm gonna go into the plans of Philippine Airlines, but before that, the situation of the Philippines, we've seen the announcement of Philippine Airlines with international flights and also a planned initial start for flights on June 1st. Though now we're seeing that there has been some coordination going on with the Philippine government and the provincial governments as well. So some routes have not been approved yet. So for the time being, the schedules will be updated regularly. So this is something to keep note if you have any travel plans and if you need to go somewhere. Other notes here, we are seeing... so let's get started actually. We're going to go with Philippine Airlines, and this is last updated on June 1st. And we see the international flights. Now I'm going to get to the domestic flights, and so far, this is the latest updates as to the plans of Philippine Airlines, and much of their flights they have planned to start on June 8th. So the changes have been reflected, though we are going to be seeing some infrequent, irregularly scheduled flights. So for example, Dumaguete here, June 3rd and 5th. Now I'm assuming these are repatriation flights and probably not open for booking, though I could be wrong. Also, we see the same thing for Tacloban, 4 and 7 of June. And I saw Davao here, June 3, 5, and 7. And then they're going to go daily on June 8. So, and also, along with the flights operating out of Manila, we're seeing a Cebu-Davao-Cebu run, which also is planned for a start on June 8. So, good news for the domestic travel scene. Though, again, this is subject to change based on government regulations and the approvals needed by the local governments along with the national government as well. On the international side now, Philippine Airlines has been operating repatriation flights, but we're now seeing the plans for regularly scheduled services starting, and we saw the first flight in this month to San Francisco. I believe this is on the ground in San Francisco after that long flight, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that status of this flight. So they are operating these flights, and then gradually by June 11 you'll start seeing a resumption of regularly scheduled services, first to North America, the US destinations. So we see Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, Honolulu on June 13. We also see Guam on June 12, followed by Canada, and then eventually they're going to be doing destinations in Asia, including Japan by the end of the month, and the Middle East also within the middle of the month as well. So that's just some of the routes. If you want to take a look at this, I will be linking this in the description below. Um, they also have now listed, as of releasing this video, updates on some flights to London and Sydney. I believe these are repatriation flights. Again, based on the scheduling of this and how it's written here. So June 10 and 25, Manila, London. Also with a return on the 26th. We also see Sydney 11 and 26 and return on 12 and 27. So this is subject, again, this is Philippine Airlines stating the information is subject to change based on the conditions of the pandemic and the travel restrictions and the easing of them. And this is going to be regularly updated, but for the time being, this is the plans of Philippine Airlines. So with that said, while Philippine Airlines will be the carrier operating international flights, we're not going to see any international flights operated by both Philippines Air Asia and Cebu Pacific. And from our Philippine-based partner, Aviation Updates Philippines, this is the situation with Cebu Pacific. We are going to be seeing some domestic flights within June 2 to 4. There are going to be announcing more flights later, but for the time being, we're going to see some flights to General Santos, Naga, Cagayan de Oro, and Cebu. So, and this is really good news again. So we're seeing this, and any updates beyond June 5 will probably bring that. Aviation Updates will bring that. Aviation Updates Philippines will bring that, along with flights in Asia. Now, as for Air Asia, they are planning to operate out of Manila and Clark. So you see these destinations: Cebu, Davao, Tacloban, Cagayan de Oro, Bacolod, Tagbilaran, and so far June 3rd is their planned start. Now, an important thing to note, though, for Air Asia out of Manila, though, they will be operating out of Terminal 3. Now, compared to their usual destination, or usual terminal of Terminal 4, as Terminal 4 is suspended for the time being. So, good news for the Philippine-based carriers after the 2.5-month hiatus. So, with those updates from the Philippines, we're gonna go to touch up on some other airlines, and some of the big headlines also was made by the mega carrier Emirates. And Emirates actually has announced that they are gonna be planning to resume regularly scheduled flights across its network throughout North America, Europe, Asia, and Australia as well. So this is from Routes Online. You're seeing even Africa too. So most of their network departing out of Dubai, and it looks like, if for example Dubai to Bangkok, a twice daily A380 services. And good news also, by the way, for the A380, seems like they're coming out. The retirement plans gonna have to wait for Emirates especially. So July 1st, twice daily A380s, and they're looking to operate a third daily flight on September. Good news. And with that, they are also planning some Fifth Freedom routes, the Bangkok Hong Kong route on August 1 using the A380s. Other destinations, we're also seeing that everything looks like as if their schedules prior to the lockdowns and the pandemic and the downturn caused by that. So if you want to take a look at this again, I will link this in the description below. Another airline that is also looking to get back to regular operations starting in July is Malaysia Airlines, and they have resumed their domestic operations already. And this is now the plans for international flights, and this is going to cover destinations in Asia as well as Europe and Australia as well. So you see Kuala Lumpur to Seoul Incheon, for example, on July 2nd, Singapore, Surabaya, Sydney, Taipei, Tokyo, Narita. One of the routes, though, I will bring up that is not going to start along in July, but will start later on, is the Kuala Lumpur to Yangon, Myanmar, which has a planned start for the 4th of September on a thrice-weekly schedule. So again, good news from Emirates and Malaysia Airlines. Now, the last airline I want to bring up is, while they're not Vietnam, I believe, has not opened up for international arrivals yet. We are seeing some limited services and limited flights operations internationally out of Vietnam through Vietnam Airlines, and this is a late update from May 25. You see here on the Northeast Asia segment, you see some flights departing from Vietnam, a one-way segment from Vietnam to Korea. So for example, Hanoi to Seoul, Ho Chi Minh to Seoul, and also Ho Chi Minh to Busan. Less than twice weekly flights starting on May 25th with the Hanoi Seoul segment, twice weekly, and they're gonna bump that up on June 15. We also see other flights here that they're planning here. The twice and thrice weekly services. And then if you look on the return segments, for example, Seoul to Ho Chi Minh City and Seoul to Hanoi, they remain suspended. So this looks like repatriation flights to me, based on how I'm reading the schedule here. And the rest of Vietnam Airlines schedules, flights remains for international services remain suspended, though they will continue to ramp up their domestic services, which is great news, along with the other developments in the Philippines and also with Emirates and Malaysia Airlines. And so far now, all these airlines and things look like they're getting back to normal in a way that prior to the pandemic, the cessation of flights due to that. So with that said, I definitely hope you enjoyed this video and the updates. Again, with the Philippines, you're gonna have to take a look at the news, as they will be regularly updating it as their schedules with Philippine Airlines, along with Cebu Pacific and Air Asia, depending on what's going on with the provinces and whether they deem themselves ready to accept travelers. And also the civil, and a lot of coordination is going on, so stay tuned for more updates, because this is a ever-changing situation. Other than that, I definitely hope you enjoyed this video. This is Flights in Asia again, highlighting the aviation and travel scene in the Asia Pacific. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, thank you very much for watching. This has been the latest updates. Thank you again. Have a great day.